Hi, there's so much conflicting information today about the sun, and the sunscreen industry is doing so well, and for good reason, because every time there's a bit of sun, we coat ourselves and our kids with sunscreen before we even step outside, because we are so worried about getting burnt or even worse, to get cancer. Which then begs the question, is the sun really your friend? Is it something that you should fear every time you see it? I'll give a quick summary of a very important truth. The sun is essential. It is your friend. You must get the sun. You know why? Because of vitamin D. It's the best way to get vitamin D by a mile. Diet cannot match it, or supplements. So whenever you see the sun, go outside. Around 12 o'clock, around midday is the best time to get the best sun. Don't cover yourself with sunscreen when you do that, because sunscreen will block it out. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Okay? Alright. I'm John from Mixedstreets.com, and today I'd like to talk about the sun and vitamin D. Let me tell you a little bit about vitamin D. It's one of those underrated essential vitamins that is so important for healthy bones, as well as fighting infection, some diabetes, depression, some skin cancers, and numerous other benefits we're still discovering now. But the one that is known mostly for is for healthy bones. Why? Because it helps your body regulate the calcium and turn the calcium into bones. So you could eat all the calcium you want from diet, but without vitamin D, the magic ingredient, it cannot turn it into bones. And guess what? The best place for your body to get vitamin D is from the sun. Eating enough food to get vitamin D is very difficult. So your body needs 1000 IU, which is international unit, of vitamin D daily to be able to do its work. And 1000 IU is like 10 glasses of milk. That's how full fat milk, 10 glasses of that will give you just enough that your body will get enough vitamin D from it. So imagine all the other bits that you're taking in, all the fat, all the crazy stuff that you're taking in to be able to get to that level. So you might say, okay, let's not drink milk. Let's try something else. Let's try salmon. Salmon is good, but you have to take 2.5 portions of it. And the portion is like one hand, like that. That's one portion. You have to take 2.5 of that to be able to make enough, up to 1000 IU of vitamin D every single day. You might say, all right, that's going to be hard. Let's go for supplements. Now, interestingly, that's what we recommend if there's no sun, or if your skin type is such that when you go out in the sun, you get burnt very easily, then we suggest that you take the supplements. But you have also to be careful the way you take the supplements, because you could overdo it. That's the first thing. But most likely you wouldn't take enough to get 1000 IU, because those supplements that have multiple vitamins in them will normally not have that. The ones that will have just 1000 IU of one single tablet of vitamin D is what we recommend for you to take. So the sun is by far the best way of getting it. Now during winter you might not get the sun. That's when the supplement is good, or maybe your skin type is so that it's hard again, or just because you can't go outside, then take the supplements. Next, let's talk about the sun. I've already said that you need vitamin D, and the sun is the best way to get vitamin D. So how does that work really? The sun gives off ultraviolet rays, so UVA, UVB and UVC. Those are the three that are known that comes from the sun. UVC is absorbed already in the atmosphere before it comes down to you. So you have UVA and UVB. The one your skin needs to turn, or your body needs through your skin to create vitamin D, is the UVB rays. Now UVB can easily be blocked. As a matter of fact, sunscreen that's one of the first things it blocks out, UVB. UVA, it's also coming down no matter what. So you pick that up also. Now between UVA and UVB, it creates some kind of reaction in your skin for you to start getting some form of a tan. So the interesting thing here is that when UVB gets through your skin, your body begins to make vitamin D from that. And if you try to cover it up with something like sunscreen, like most sunscreens are easy to cover UVB. And as a matter of fact, it's a bad idea to get the sunscreen that only blocks UVB. You want the full spectrum one, the one that blocks UVA and UVB. Otherwise, there'll be an imbalance. I might make another video completely about this. But to summarize, you need to not have sunscreen on you for your body to make vitamin D. Even if the sun comes through glass, it still blocks away UVB, which is what you need. It has to be directly onto your skin. So how much time do you really need before you have to cover up in the sun? The common sense idea is to spend a quarter of the time that it takes you to get burns. So what I mean is, if say it takes you 1 hour before you start going pink, so let's say you're pale skin, and if you go out in the sun and after an hour you start feeling the burn, you start going really bright pink, then we suggest that you spend 15 minutes, so a quarter of that time. If it takes you longer before you get there, just work out how long it's going to take. It's a quarter of that time. So for me, I'll have to spend like 2 hours. For my wife, she'll probably have to spend like 30 minutes or so, and that's it. That's all you need. And if you do that 3 days a week, that's what's suggested. It should give you enough 1000 IU, and it accumulates and it saves it and it uses it up. Let's talk about skin cancer. There are, broadly speaking, 2 types of skin cancer: the melanoma skin cancer and the non-melanoma skin cancer. The non-melanoma skin cancer is by far the most prevalent one. It's like 90% of skin cancers that is found, and interestingly is the easiest to treat. There's overwhelming evidence that non-melanoma skin cancer is caused by overexposure to the sun. It's normally found in older men and women. They get exposed when they are much younger, so normally you pay for it when you're older, but by the time you get old, it's too late. You've already overexposed yourself to when you're young. So the point here is, don't overexpose yourself to the sun, because there's a high risk you will get non-melanoma skin cancer. Now the second one is the melanoma skin cancer, which is the most deadly skin cancer. It is actually 85% of the deaths that is caused by skin cancer is caused by melanoma skin cancer. Now there are 2 camps on the research on this. One camp says it's definitely overexposure to the sun. The other camp that argue that it's nothing to do with the sun say that because it's normally found on your lower back or your legs, which are normally covered from the sun, that proves that it's not really caused by overexposure to the sun. However, let's not take any risk. Do not overexpose yourself to the sun. That's not what we are suggesting here. We are saying you need to hang out in the sun to be able to get the vitamin D you need. So I'll compare it with food. You know that you have to eat food. It's important for your body. It's for your maintenance of your body and many other things. But if you eat too much food, you have a lot of issues: obesity, heart problems, all types of problems you get when you overeat. If you undereat, if you don't eat at all or eat very little, you have all the other issues equally as bad. Like anorexia, you have malnutrition and other things that will affect you if you do not eat enough. It's the same thing as having the sun. So on one camp, if you have too much sun, it's cancer. If you have too little sun, it's things like rickets, multiple sclerosis, and many other depression, many other things that happen if you do not have enough sun. So what we're suggesting is a common sense approach, because we find that most people now are too worried about the other extreme, about getting skin cancer, that they do not go out in the sun without covering themselves up with sunscreen. So please get a balance. Cover yourself with sunscreen, but please spend some time in the sun first, a little bit before you do that. Hope it makes sense. Thank you so much for listening to me. I will make more videos. I stopped for a little bit of time, so I'm going to get back into it. So give me a comment if you have to reach out to me. It's john@mixedstreets.com. Thank you very much.